This is Jody Shirami at Astro Podcast. Today is June 12th, and Venus in Cancer is squaring Taurus Moon at 29 degrees at aneroid degree tonight at 10:23 p.m. Pacific time, since I'm in California. And then the Taurus Moon is going to conjunct Mars at 18 degrees. And this is a little bit of excitement and a little bit irrational. And you could get angry with Mars here in your emotional zone. You can get excited. You can be excitable. You can get angry. You just need to focus. And then on June 13th, Venus shifts into Leo at 3:46 a.m. Pacific time. And here is where you want to say what you're thinking, since Venus is now out of Cancer. It is much more talkative and socializing. So you want to say things here that are raw, like a Leo would, and just say things. And Leos love attention. So this could be where the president with his rising sign in Leo really goes crazy at night texting. And then Leo Venus at between 3 and 5 degrees here is very powerful, as it is in a fire trine with Aries Neptune and opposing Aquarius Pluto. Booyah, booyah, booyah. So the intenseness is happening, and Cancer is involved, and Leo Venus is involved. And so this is, it's a fire sign meeting up with an air sign, which is Aquarius at 4 degrees. And then it's also going to sextile the Gemini Uranus at 3 degrees. So here we're entering that degrees that we've been talking about at 4 degrees, where all the outer planets going to align and exact the Barbo basket. And it's moving into that area right now. And so Barbo basket is going to be in effect as we head into Cancer season. And then Gemini Moon is going to conjunct Uranus at 3 degrees. And so here, and then it's going to sextile Aries Neptune and then Aquarius Pluto. So Rick Levine says this cosmic alignment is really a foreshadowing of what is to come in July, as we are entering Cancer here on the 20th or the 21st, depending where you live. And so this foreshadowing is going to be very telling as we see what happens here this coming week, as it begins to head into Cancer season, when in July it's going to really erupt in Cancer season, especially around July 4th, the 250th anniversary of America. And we're already having controversy there anyways. So then Taurus Mars was half square to Aries Neptune at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And here is where this square with Mars and Neptune is going to bring us a lot of insecurity, and we're going to have to heal through art and truth, because again, Neptune is about spiritual healing, and it's through art. And it supports art. It supports the truth. And then creativity here is going to rule, because with Neptune spirituality, it's very creative Neptune. And so the creativity here is going to be off the charts. And you're going to be releasing delusional actions and thoughts and leaning into spiritual renewal, which is what the North Node wants us to do. And the North Node's at 2 or 1 degrees now, and it's a very powerful area for the North and South Node to be in. Then on June 14th, Cancer Mercury is going to half square to Gemini Uranus at 3:28 a.m. Pacific time, as Uranus prepares to trine Aquarius Pluto. So anytime we talk about this, anytime anything shifts, it's going to have an alignment with all the outer planets and personal planets, and it's either good or bad depending on where it is. And so this is truly powerful energy, because Pluto is involved. And when Pluto is involved, like I've said a million times, it is no joke. It is my Mars. And people that have crossed me will know my Mars does not play around. And then new Gemini Moon is entering, and it's going to be entering at 7:54 p.m. Pacific time. And then it will shift into a sextile. The Gemini New Moon's at 24 degrees and 43 minutes, and it's going to be occurring at 7:54 p.m. And then it will shift into a sextile with Aries at 26 degrees at 11:54 p.m. Pacific time. And this new moon on Gemini is a kind new moon, and Aries is the Aries sister who was treated badly. And so the moon here is helping us, and Aries is helping us to heal our emotional wounds, especially as women, how we're treated, how we don't support each other, and then women attack each other, trying to get a man to like them, and so the patriarchy wins. So here's your chance, ladies, to really support each other. And Leo Venus sextiles Gemini Uranus. Excitement galore, although Cancer Mercury is pre-retrograde phase. It's going to retrograde next week. And so, although we're excited, but Cancer Mercury is really kind of sleeping and floating, and in that part of the pre-retrograde phase where we all are slowing down our thoughts, our minds. Although Uranus is in Gemini, kind of sparking our genius and creativity. With Mercury here, don't expect much with communication, with transportation. But most of all, Mercury in Cancer already is slow, but now it's going to be extra slow to where it's almost like a standstill. Although Venus in Cancer is kind of slowing down this excitement, we still want to express Leo's love for glamour. Really enjoy that. Leo likes to dress up, likes to be happy. It's an optimistic sign, and it just wants to be happy. Not everyone can handle when Leo is having fun and enjoying themselves. And, the current president is a Leo rising, and he's been having a lot of fun in his life, but now we're going to check him, right? Then on June 15th, Leo Venus close to sextile Gemini Uranus at 2 degrees around 3:42 p.m. Pacific time. And Leo Venus begins to move into its many interactions. As it heads into Leo, it's going to start at 1 degree, 2 degrees, and it's going to do a lot of stuff. And of course, it's going to oppose Pluto Aquarius, because that's Pluto Aquarius is about 4 degrees and it's retrograde. So it's retrograding back to 2, so it's in that type of inner energy. It's also slow moving, but it's more powerful because it is a outer planet that's not moving. And then Leo Venus is really warning us of what is going to occur later in July, because Leo Venus will be here until the end of June into July before it shifts into Virgo. So it's going to be here for a while to lead us and let us see what's going to happen in Cancer. We're getting the previews now. If you pay attention to what's going on, you'll start to see similarities and what's going to happen. Cancer Moon is going to square Aries Neptune, highlighting delusional thoughts and fears of creativity. So here we go. With Cancer delusional here, we can either use that foggy energy to write poetry, which is what I do. And so as a Gemini midhaven, it's easier to write poetry and use the lower mind to communicate with others, whereas it's difficult when it's in when it's in another sign. And then on June 16th, Leo Venus trines Aries Neptune at 3 or 4 degrees at 8:40 p.m. Pacific time. And again, this is another great day for creativity. So really into creativity. I don't know, you can decorate your house, you can paint, you can take pictures, you can sing, act, do what you got to do to get it out, and instead of being angry and lashing out at others. Cancer Moon squares Aries Saturn 3/4 at 12 p.m. at 3 or 4 degrees at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And this is going to be difficult to share as Mercury is in pre-retrograde. Again, that's what we're just talking about, is that Mercury is in pre-retrograde. So in order to go get things done, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be like walking through a swamp, or maybe standing in quicksand trying to get things said or communicate with others. It's going to be a very foggy time, and that's why delusion come in, and that's when people do things behind our backs, like build data centers without us knowing. We can't sell our house after. And then on June 17th, Leo Venus trines Aries Neptune at 3 to 4 degrees, still close to a trine with Gemini Uranus. Oh, and here we have that genius Uranus coming into Aries Neptune, giving us some rare creativity that is out of the norm, and where people are like, what are you doing? What are you wearing? What are you thinking about doing? You know, and you're like, oh. And Leo Venus opposite Aquarius Pluto, 4 degrees at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And here we go. When Venus is opposite to Pluto, we are changing our values. What it is we think that we are doing with these values. Are we being a mean person? Killing people on the streets that are protesting? That are just basically standing there trying to help someone that falls down, or just trying to drive their car out of the way, or just being a brown person, an immigrant who's been here for 50 years, they still want you. Cancer Moon conjuncts Jupiter at 26 degrees. So this is going to really add to those emotions that we've been feeling with Jupiter. It's going to be out of the world, where you might not be able to control yourself, because that's what Jupiter is about, excessiveness, right? But also it's a gift if you can learn to use Jupiter in the right way, because Jupiter rules over Sagittarius and Pisces. Leo Moon enters, making major aspects as it conjuncts Venus. That's going to be nice. Leo Moon will help Leo Venus to express itself and love herself. And so here we're having the same alignments as Venus did when it also entered Leo as well. Great clues to what's to come with some unexpectedness. So here we go. What does that mean? Basically, we have to begin looking at ourselves realistically and get rid of those delusions, because Gemini Uranus is also involved, and there's going to be a bunch of unexpected air things happening, which would be communication, writing, singing. It's going to be a way to release our tension through creativity, which is what Gemini Uranus is about. Geminis are very, very creative. As a sun sign and a rising sign, as a moon sign, they could be flaky in the moon, and they could also be friendly. But the love is an air love, and Gemini is a mutable sign. So here is where you get those Gemini people that could be lying to you. All kinds of things be happening here. So it's very eye-opening as we shift through this week, and make sure you pay attention to how you're feeling, because it's really going to give you a great preview of what's going to happen in Cancer season, which is on the 20th, 21st, depending where you are. June 18th, Leo Moon trines Aries Saturn at 11 and 13 degrees early on in the morning. And so many aspects as Leo Moon is still involved with the conjunctions or the opposition or the trine or all these things that Venus went through. The moon's going to go through the exact same thing, as well as the sun when it shifts into Leo in July 20th or 21st. And so with these aspects, with the moon, it's going to aspect Gemini Uranus, Aries Neptune, and Aquarius Pluto, definitely sending a huge boost to prepare as explosive energy begins to enter during the summer solstice as it shifts into Cancer season. Cancer is an emotional sign. It's also the birthday of America, and it has its Pluto return and its 250th anniversary. So we're talking about very explosive energy with Pluto involved, and Mars is also preparing to move into Gemini and meet up with Uranus at 4 degrees. And this is when things are really going to kick off, and that's not too long from now. And then June 19th on Friday, Gemini Sun also is heading to the summer solstice at 18 degrees. And then Aries Chiron shifts into Taurus at 2:19 p.m. Pacific time. And Chiron is the personal healer, leaving Aries after, I believe, 7 or 15 years here. It takes 52 years to go around. So it takes about 6 or 7 years. And this is the centaur that is the personal healer to Achilles, to all the heroes that you've heard about. And then the moon's going to enter Virgo very early morning as it shifts into June 20th, where Chiron enters Taurus at 12 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday. So Chiron, the personal healer, really is tugging at you. Chiron, when it was in Neptune, was about healing your inner child. And then Chiron in Aries is about I am. Are you sure what you are is I am? Are you being delusional about it? Because now Chiron's going to go Taurus. And again, the model for Taurus, I possess, I own. So here when Chiron heads in, especially at 0 degrees, and this is a fixed earth sign, we're going to be dealing with what it is we own, our possessions. And what about our possessions? Are they making you stuck up and think you're better than other people? Are you showing off all your possessions? Are you being a Leo in a selfish, bully way, pushing your ideas onto others? So I expect with this Leo Venus and Leo Moon, it's really going to impact the mundane world, because the person running America right now is a Leo rising, and with Chiron heading into Taurus, which is the 10th house of Leo, we're dealing with some personal healing that maybe the current president of America cannot do, because he lashes out and blames other people for everything that's happening in his life. And so he's like a little baby with a diaper on that can't handle his own emotions. And I'm so happy that they've stopped him from wrecking the JFK Center. I mean, when I think about his jealousy, it has no end. I mean, he's so jealous of JFK that, you know, it's just like a 3-year-old. A 3-year-old, see, 2-year-olds are really cute, but then they call it the terrible 3s, right? And your child is only a terrible 3 if you didn't take care of him properly when he was younger. You didn't teach him, because kids' brains are active until they're 3 before they turn 4. And they're active, I've talked about this many times, they're active in terms of 90% lit up. It's all red when you do a little x-ray of their brain or whatever. It's completely red. And so here we're trying to say that if you never grew up since you were 3 years old, when your brain went to 25-30%, that means you're still active. You're still acting like your brain is completely lit up still, but you don't understand that it's not really functioning at that level anymore. And so you're basically ruining yourself and becoming spoiled to the point of where you can't hear other people. You don't accept other people. You just use people. And that's what a user is someone like the current president of America. You use, you abuse, and you use. And then you feel very cocky with getting away with so much bad things. I can do anything I want. So that's where we're at. And the very good news for me is that Albania, they stood up, and now the president's daughter and son-in-law are not able to build a resort on a national registered, place for animals and And yeah, it's really beautiful, but it's a home of flamingos, and there's no longer flamingos in Florida because MAGA's been here for 30 years and they have frickin' ruined Florida. It's overcrowded. We don't have flamingos anymore. We still have 2 more years of this administration, but he's starting to get booed. People are starting to hate him. And in Albania, they don't want his daughter and son-in-law to be building a resort that's going to kill animals. And Albania isn't a rich country. I think they understand that some of us Americans are really disgusted. And so thank you, Albania, for standing up for us. So maybe a lot more people will help us get rid of this person that's running our lives right now and making us all afraid to even go outside. And so the President of the United States doesn't talk any other way but pompous. And he's always attacking women, calling us pigs. So that language, that style is exactly what exists all over the world in the patriarchy. And some countries take care of their women differently. And, you know, if you're a billionaire, trillionaire in Saudi Arabia and you're a princess, you know, your life probably doesn't seem so bad. You know, they just let them drive the car for the first time. They could finally drive a car. And so there's like backwards things going on for women all over the world. And it's almost like they want to keep us, what, a 12 or 13-year-old? That seems to be what the Epstein people liked, especially Prince Andrew and Trump. And also Epstein. They like them little. They want to groom them when they're little, get them to like you and trust you, and then they start piddling with you, and then before you know it, you feel guilty because it feels good to be peddled with, and the next thing you know, you're married to a man that's same age as your own dad. And there's plenty of women. Oh, what about the current president? She's married to a man that's like this age, maybe older than her dad. So, you know, I believe that if you're groomed and your parents let it happen, shame. So that's it for today. This is the last week of Gemini season. This is the last week of clear communication and thinking, because Mercury is pre-retrograde phase, and it will be retrograde for almost a month because it's at the end degrees of Cancer. It's going to move back. And it's going to move back to these degrees that we've been talking about these past weeks, and all of that is going to be stirred up again. And that's why July is going to be explosive, because of Mercury retrograde going back again over these areas. And as you can see, what's going on with Mercury over these areas is so much bull crap that we're going to have to go over it again. And this time, maybe all these people won't be so delusional about it and vote the right way. But I think it's getting to the point where they're going to have to remove him from office because his people are doing so many bad things. There's like 100 data centers in every state already. I mean, it's crazy, these data centers, and you build it and they have a permit to say that they're going to like, you have a permit. Let's say I'm going to I'm going to build this shop, a body shop for cars. I'm going to fix cars, right? So you get a special quick way to get your business going, because it's a standard, you know, oh, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to fix cars, okay, we got you, you can go ahead and start that, right? So that's the type of paperwork that was filed for all these data centers. Is saying, oh, we're just going to have this kind of, you know, we're going to make this thing, you know, it's not going to be big. It's just going to be a prototype. And then we'll, you know, we'll get the real paperwork that says it's legal, that we're doing it legally, right? But it doesn't matter because there's no one regulating anything anymore. They got rid of everything. So now you can do whatever you want. You can rape the land, rape the ocean, rape women, rape men. Okay? That's what you got to understand. It doesn't ever stop. And so now these data centers are in places where people's houses are that want to retire because it's out in the middle of the country. They're loving it. And all of a sudden there's this data center probably about 1,000 feet away from you, maybe a football field away from you, 100, 200 yards, whatever it's called, I don't know. But the fact is, all the stuff that comes out of it is polluting our air. And so they're using it to power electricity to the grid. And then they need the water to cool down their chips that overheat. And this one plant, the biggest one in Texas, was built, and no one as soon as it started going up, they're like, oh, what's that? They never talked about it to the community like they should. And so they're building them, of course, where there are people that aren't super rich, but they have a home. They're not homeless, thank God, but they're going to make them homeless. That's what they do. They want slaves. It's a plantation. And you can see it so clearly with this current administration that they are slave owners, and they're not hiding anymore. The Heritage Foundation is so happy. They've had half of their things, and they're going to have another half of their things finished. And, this is probably the data centers, the raping of farmers, ruining our food, taking all the land, because I heard that Bill Gates had talked about this, has bought a farmland. He owns like over 270 acres. I used to say, what is he going to use all that for? Oh, now I know, a data center. So that's where we're at in America, and everyone used to say America is the best, and I didn't understand it at the time, but now I know it's not the best. It's one of the worst countries in the world. Doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican running it. There's always a war. There's always insider trading. That's why they're all rich. And it doesn't matter which one you are, Democrat, Republican, Independent. If you're in there and you're getting lobbied, you're making money that you shouldn't be making money. So everything is corrupt. And the one thing I would say about Trump is that he wants to drain the swamp, and he's the king of the swamp, and he needs to be drained. So yeah, thanks for going in there and showing us who needs to be drained, because the only one that could get these people come out of the fucking hole that they're in is you, Mr. Trump. So that's what I'm saying. He's here for a reason. He's doing his job. He's showing us exactly how America's run. And you can see there's lawlessness. No one is stopping him. No one. Okay, that's it. That's me, Leo. I'm going to say all kinds of stuff where my Leo is in Mercury. I will be saying a lot more. But right now, Mercury is going to sleep. And I can already feel the fuzziness in my head because it's asleep in my 12th house. So everyone's feeling like this. And this is when they're going to do all kinds of things because we're distracted by whatever, right? But there's nothing we can do besides vote. And really, don't fight with people. It's not worth it. If you try to talk to them, they won't understand you. There's no critical thinking going on. There's no personal accountability. The bully, when you try to stand up to the bully, you get sent to the principal's office, and the principal takes the side of the bully. And the teachers hound you because you're a good person. School system's screwed up. There shouldn't be charter schools. There shouldn't be homeschooling, because you can see what it's done to America in particular in 20 years now of homeschooling. There's no love going on there. It's just all about power and greed, and power over women is rape. Okay, so that's it for now. I love you guys. I'll talk to you next week, and take care of yourself. Okay, love you. Bye.